Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wal mursaleen. Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam tasliman kathiran kathira. Amma ba'du. My dear brothers and sisters, yesterday I spoke to you about, or I began to speak to you, that is on what I think is a good schedule to have to introduce in your life. And as I said, the purpose of this reminder is for us to practice it and to make it a habit in Ramadan, and then we can keep that throughout our lives, inshallah. And that is to begin your day with tahajjud. And like I said yesterday, I find that getting up 1.5 hours before, that's 2 slots of 45 minutes, so 1.5 hours before the time for Fajr starts, that is the best. Do the best that you can do, inshallah. And then what you do is you pray tahajjud in the first slot of 45 minutes. Inshallah, this is sufficient. And then in the next slot of 45 minutes, read 1 juz of Quran. Now, another way of doing that is maybe wake up, instead of 1.5 hours, wake up 1 hour before and read that 1 juz of Quran in tahajjud itself. So that's another possibility. Now, if you are not a hafiz, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make us make the Quran part of our lives and part of our entire system, and make us hufaz of Quran. Inshallah, we'll talk about this issue of hafiz Quran. But in tahajjud and of course in all nawafil, you can look at the mushaf and read. So you don't have to, you don't need to know it by heart. You can look at the mushaf, at the kitab itself, and read. You can read it on a device. You can read it on an iPad, phone, whatever is convenient for you. You can even hold the Quran in your hand and read, and then place it on a stool or something, or a chair which you have placed conveniently there when you go into ruku and sujood. Or you can have it on a stand, and you get these nice stands on which you can. I usually prefer to, sometimes if I read, I prefer to have it on a stand and have a big one, big kitab, big mushaf, with nice big writing. Of course, for me to read small print is tough. So, and then you can read from that. So, as you wish, you can read that. If you want to read a full juz in 8 rakat of tahajjud, then you will have to read roughly about 2.5 pages. And I'm talking about the Uthmani script, Uthmani Quran, which has 15 lines per page. If you are reading that, then if you read 2.5 pages per rakat, it will finish the whole juz in 8 rakat. So up to you, whatever you want to do. If you like to do that, alhamdulillah. Otherwise, you can read in the tahajjud whatever surahs you know, and then you can read this 1 juz of Quran before Salatul Fajr. So once you finish that, then you go to the masjid for Salatul Fajr, inshallah, pray Fajr. And after Fajr, if Allah gives tawfiq, alhamdulillah, inshallah, then either stay in the masjid or come back home. I'm giving you a schedule, inshallah, which is good for the rest of your life, inshallah. But given COVID conditions, you might not be permitted to stay in the masjid until the time for Salatul Duha, time for Ishraq. So don't worry, it's okay. You don't have to follow whatever regulations are there in your country. But then come back home. And if inshallah this is possible for you, then sit in zikr until the sun comes up, and then pray 2 and 2, which is Salatul Duha, 2 rakat and 2 rakat, and then you finish and then you can start your day. Now think about this, that if you do this, then approximately every day of your life will begin with 2 hours of worship, 2 hours of khalis ibadah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, inshallah. And in this tahajjud, make all the du'as that you want to make, because this is the time when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala specifically announces and says, who is it that needs me and my help? Who is it that needs my protection? Who is it that needs anything from me? Let him ask and I will give. So therefore, this is the number one best time to make dua, and with complete and total belief, insha'Allah, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will accept this dua. So this is the benefit of beginning your day like this, having that as a daily schedule, inshallah, right? Then the other important thing is the importance of the masnoon azkar, the zikr that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam used to do after every fard salah. Make sure you do that. Many times you find people, as soon as the salam they make for the fard salah, immediately they stand up and start praying sunnah. This was not the sunnah of Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. His method, his sunnah, his habit was that he would remain sitting after fard salah, and then he would make the azkar. So he would say astaghfirullah 3 times, then he would say, sometimes in different places the order of this has been reported differently. That doesn't matter, you can do whichever way, but do it. Then he would read ayat, so astaghfirullah 3 times, this is Allahu Akbar, astaghfirullah al-azim, astaghfirullah al-azim, astaghfirullah al-azim. Then he would read ayat al-kursi, then he would read qul huwallahu ahad, qul a'udhu bil falaq, qul a'udhu bin nas once each, and then he would read or do the tasbih Fatimi, which is 33 times subhanallah, 33 times alhamdulillah, 34 times Allahu Akbar. And then he would say la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. After that he would say la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lahu, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu yuhyi wa yumitu wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. So it's the same thing with the addition of yuhyi wa yumit. Wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. He would say this 10 times, and then he would say Allahumma la ma'ali alayhi ma'atita wa la muti lima manata wa la yanfawzu al-jadd milkal jadd. Right? He would do this, and this is the basic fundamental amount of azkar that he would do, alayhi salam, after every first salah. In Salatul Fajr, after Salatul Fajr and after Salatul Maghrib, the Suratul Ikhlas and Muwaddatayn, that's Qul Huwallahu Ahad, Qul A'udhu bil Falaq, and Qul A'udhu bi Rabbin Nas, he would recite 3 times instead of once. Right? I told you once, which is the regular other salawat, but Fajr and Maghrib, he would recite it 3 times. So, Astaghfirullah, Suratul Fatiha, Suratul Ikhlas 3 times, Muwaddatayn 3 times, and the rest. This was in Fajr and Maghrib. And in Zohar and Asr and Isha, it was Astaghfirullah, Ayat al-Kursi, Suratul Ikhlas and Muwaddatayn once each, and then he would do the rest of the azkar. So make sure you do this. Then make sure you pray the Sunnah Muakkada, which is with every Salah except Asr. With Zohar it is 4 rakat before, and of course different madhahib, in some it is 2 rakat, whatever it is, but whatever you know from your madhab, follow that and make sure that you do the Sunnah Muakkada. Please understand, the Sunnah Muakkada of Salatul Fajr is extremely important. Even if you are praying Khasar in your travel, which you will pray instead of 4 rakat, you pray 2 rakat for Zohar and Asr, and you do not pray the Sunnah, with Salatul Fajr you do pray the Sunnah. Right? You do pray the Sunnah. Not praying the Sunnah in Safar, in travel, with Khasar is the Sunnah. It's not prohibited. If somebody wants to pray, they can do that. But from the hadith of Ibn Umar radiallahu anhuma, he said that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam did not used to pray the Sunnah salawat when he was traveling. So inshallah, you can follow this. Or if you want to pray, alhamdulillah, it is not prohibited. You can also do that. So this is the sunan salawat, the sunnah prayers after fard are extremely important. The fuqaha have said that if you have not done it immediately after the salah or before the salah, as the case might be, then you must necessarily complete it before the time for that salah is over. So if supposing you prayed Zohar in the masjid, and then you prayed the sunnah, you didn't pray the sunnah there, then go home and pray it. Another thing is that it is better for you to pray the sunnah and nawafil at home than praying them in the masjid. Rasulullah said, do not make your homes into graveyards, because it is not permissible to pray, to make salah in the cemetery. So Nabi said, don't make your houses into graveyards. Make sure that you pray in your house also. So your tahajjud and the sunnah of the fard salawat and other nawafil should be prayed. It is better to pray at home, but of course, obviously, you can pray it in the masjid. Final thing is Salatul Witr. It is wajib. It is almost as important as fard, and therefore it must be prayed. You can pray Salatul Witr immediately after praying the sunnah of Isha, or you can delay it and you can pray it after you have finished praying tahajjud. Whatever is convenient for you, and make sure you do not miss it. It must not be missed. There is no qada for it, so therefore make sure that you pray it every day. Witr should be, witr ideally should be the last salah, but even if you pray witr after Isha, you can still pray tahajjud, and you can still pray nawafil after witr. There is no problem with that, inshallah. Jazakumullahu khairan. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make this Ramadan the best of your lives. Wa sallallahu ala nabiyil kareem wa alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in bi rahmatika ya arhamar rahimin.